know how many times he's climbed Ama Dablam. He thinks it's somewhere between 25 and 30 times.
Bit cold at the moment.
Yep, bit of afternoon cloud.
What time is it?
It is 2.
So
We've been going 3 hours. So we're doing quite well, really.
Okay.
We go to 1 today, we go on the ridge tomorrow, we move up to 3 the following day, and we'll go to the summit the day after that. The way people are moving on the mountain, that sounds like that will happen. I think things will happen according to my little plan, but so I'm happy.
You ready, Tony?
Yep. Slowly, eh? Into thin air. Well, basically, there's a bit of weather coming in, and this guy's been carrying our stuff up, but I'm not very happy that, you know, that he goes a lot further than this, takes our stuff up to the Camp 1, and then has to come down in the dark or something like this. So I've sent him down now, so he'll get down fine and won't have any trouble. What?
I'm wearing all my clothes now.
Yeah.
I think it will be okay.
Yeah, no, we'll be fine, but I just didn't want this guy to have a bad time, you know. We're going to take some of this food and things up, stash the rest, and I'll come and get it tomorrow.
How are you doing?
A bit cold and a bit wet, but other than that, it's not too bad.
A bit tired. Went up to Camp 2 today.
Good.
Yeah.
How was the tower?
That was fine. A bit hard work.
Okay.
But the views were good. Not very nice that way.
Yeah, it's not very nice either way, really.
It cleared up just before we got to the tents. But wet. Clothes and stuff, but here is our gear, so we should be alright. It's great. That's the final touch. It means so much. Forgot my knife. Fork. How are you guys?
We're thirsty.
Thirsty, but not so bad.
Have you eaten?
We've had a little to eat. We've had 1 cup of tea, and we're just going to have another cup of tea, and probably another cup of tea, and another cup of tea, and then we might feel quite normal by then, I reckon.
Okay. I had chicken.
Oh, very nice.
And we were just supposed to be here, 3 of us. I'm quite happy I'm the only one. Any news of Vidar?
No, there's no news of Vidar. I've spoken with Henry on the radio, and The last time I spoke to him, he was still not back at the base camp. We had a kitchen boy walking up here with some food, and I stashed all the food that he was carrying up under a boulder. Today, our Sherpas have come up and they couldn't find it because I suppose it's fairly well hidden. So I'm going to go back down and get it and bring it back up here. I think it's probably an hour down and something, an hour and a half to 2 hours up. That's assuming I don't get caught in another storm again.
Maður búið að vera að chilla í dag. Taka myndir af fallegum umhverfi og slaka á.
I'm very tired.
Did you go far?
No, not very far. Just round the corner and up a bit. I'm too old for this game.
How was it, Saman?
I found the bag of food quite easily. We're all ready to go. I've heard that the snow's quite deep up there, which is why they're going quite slowly. But we'll see. But I think they should get to the summit tomorrow, people, which is perfect for us. So did Vidar? Did they say anything, or just cheerio, really?
They were very nice, and he said he decided yesterday that they weren't up. He wasn't up for it. It wasn't working for him, and so he just wanted to get down and out. And I said fine, and you guys would bring down his kit, and he can go out with you and Ingar. And his girlfriend had an atrocious headache. Yeah, I gave her some oxygen and sent them back down the hill as quick as could. Didn't even stay for lunch.
Oh right, so they're off there, and they're back to Kathmandu and on the next kerosene budgie back to Iceland, are they?
I think that's probably it. It might be going to the trial. I don't know.
Okay, speak to you later.
Some news.
Some news, yes.
I have to admit that it came to me it's quite a shock that Vidar has decided to leave. And it's not surprised. I'm not surprised that Hilda got sick because he came up quite fast. And yeah. You're not coming?
No, I'm not. I didn't have a very good night last night, and still not where I need to be to climb this thing.
It's a pity.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I think it's a sensible thing to do, to be honest. I'm in no state to do any technical climbing up there.
How are you doing, Saman?
I'm good. I feel very good today. We've made a quick start, and we've sort of got in front of a traffic jam, really.
Very nice view from here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. So we're not far from the Yellow Tower.
No.
The guy up there that we can see with the orange rucksack or whatever it is, he's on top of the Yellow Tower.
You're alone? No, okay. See you.
I can make it.
Good. What's your name? Still vertical.
Yeah, it's vertical. Yeah, it's good.
Doesn't look too bad.
Not bad, I tell you. Like 10, 15 metres
Yeah.
of vertical. The rest is easy. You'll piss it.
I guess so.
I guess.
This is what most people struggle with on this. Yeah, this is the technically most difficult bit of the mountain. He's not making it look difficult, is he?
Bit of power climbing.
Yeah, yeah. He's got your sleeping bag on his back just for a bit of extra ballast. He's done it. Ah, it's a good old traffic jam now.
Yes, this way. Yeah, now right. All over there. Yes. Yes, jump, jump. You have lean back, then jump. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now it's coming out. Just out of breath.
Tiring. So,
Coming.
yes? Yes. That was very hard work. So I'm a bit breathless now.
Yeah, Imeka. I made it.
Yeah, we've both made it.
I suddenly got cramps in my fingers, just like. It's great. Best company, best day. Where is our break?
Here, Camp 2.
Oof, this must be the worst shit all on earth.
Smell.
You have children?
Two.
Two. How old?
One is 8, one is 4.
Right, mine is 3 and 1. It's very small. Right, let's get me trouser suit. This is the Grey Tower. Look at that now.
wanted to have 2 carabines here. I just couldn't find it.
No problem.
Right, so get in that tent.
Okay.
I'm ready for it. A nice cup of tea, I feel.
Tired. Wasted. But Simon is there.
Yes.
In tea.
Yeah.
The bastard.
Yo,
You.
good one.
Drinking tea?
Yeah, we got some tea on.
Nice spot.
Yeah?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm very tired. But happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You okay, Severin?
Yeah, I'm good. Just a sneeze.
Here's our camp tree.
It's great.
Yeah.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah. First time come through here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Let's put those in, eh? Now don't get... Try not to get a load of snow or ice on you, eh? So if you give me those now, I'll put them in the tent. There's no ice or tent, you know, there's nothing in the tent at the moment.
Nice touch of having these 2 tents here.
Yeah.
You know, the actual Camp 3.
Hello, we're all snug in our tents up here. They've got 2 lovely little spots actually on the Mushroom Ridge, so it's good. They're a little below 3, but they're obviously as safe as houses, and yeah, and they're very comfortable. So our plan is to get going reasonably early tomorrow morning, if it's not windy and cold, and see where we end up at the end of the day, really.
Have many people passed you going to 3 over?
Yeah, there's a load of people going now that we passed earlier on, and they're still on their way to 3. There's probably like half a dozen of them.
Yeah, I'm standing right
Yeah, I
outside
would try and
the
get
tent.
in front of them in the morning anyway, over.
Right. Hello.
It's Hugo.
How are you doing?
Fucking knackered.
Okay, well, I hope you have a good night, and I'll switch on in the morning at sort of 7ish, over.
Okay, we'll speak to you then.
Okay, my regards to you all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Are you okay, Hugo?
I'm just knackered, moving slow. It's fucking cold out here now.
No, I know it. You've got about another 20 minutes, half an hour, I think, to Camp 3.
Yeah, at least.
It's on top of that next lump, you know. Make us another cup of tea, and I'm going to make us a
A ready meal. What do you reckon?
Ooh,
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
yeah, I have to have.
Yeah. Okay.
I really don't feel like eating at the moment, but
You've got to push it down.
yeah.
You've just got to eat it.
No problem.
Hamburger and beans.
Okay, it doesn't sound bad.
Sausage and beans.
No, thank you. I've had that.
That's it. Sausage and beans. So, right.
There's someone. There was a guy down there who said there were 4 avalanches last night. Night in Camp 3.
Down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to Camp 3 late in the evening, and it was after dark. Everyone was very tired because we'd come from Camp 1. We had heard that, obviously the story from last year when the climbers had died at Camp 3. So I was lying there, and all of a sudden I heard one of the most terrible sounds of my life was the crack and woomph of the ice breaking. I could hear the ice rushing down in an avalanche towards the tent, and it seemed like right at the moment when it was going to hit, as I was curled into a ball, it rushed by the side of the tent, and you could feel the breeze on the tent. I haven't been that scared and that helpless. You lie in your sleeping bag and you can't do anything. It's too cold, dark, and you're too tired to get up and move. It'd be too dangerous to try and do that. My first thought was, as the ice was crashing down, how is this going to hurt? How is it going to hurt me? And I couldn't believe it. I was still alive. Right after that, my next thought was, this was the last thing that the people last year heard before they were killed. I went over to the tent of my Sherpa, and he was very scared. I said, Dendi, we can't stay here. And he said, no, I'm not staying here. I'm too scared. I'm going down. The mountain's too dangerous. I said, yes, I agree. It's too dangerous. We have to come down. We got very, very lucky last night. So for us, it meant that our climb was over.
It would be nice to have more rope here.
Yeah, but I think you'll be okay if you take it slowly. Can you hear me, Henry?
Yeah, not very loud, but I can hear you.
Oh, right. We're just having a rest. We're at the bottom of the snow ridge now, Henry.
Far out. So there's no one in front of you.
We got 2 guys. We got 1 member, 1 Sherpa in front of us.
Thank you very much. Nice rest. Cheers.
Yeah, we'll be on our way in sort of 5 or 10 minutes, so you'll see our group of 4 behind the 2 in front.
Okay, great. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Simon.
Difficult?
Sí, sí.
The summit? 1 hour. I can make it.
Put your feet on either side of the crest.
Okay. It's just Simon. I don't want to fall this direction. I think I see a rope up on here.
Yeah, there's another rope, isn't there?
Yeah,
It's just a bit of a gap for some reason.
it's a beautiful day.
It's great.
The perfect day. Where are you from?
Montreal, Quebec.
Ah, right. You like it?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, yeah. This is where the rope's end.
Yeah. We're good.
Hi.
Hey. We're all done.
All done.
You. Thank you.
Hey.
Well done.
Oh. I recognize this one. Yeah. Just so.
Man, that's cold.
It's good.
It feels very nice, if a little cold. Maury.
Yeah, this is Maury.
We've got Kanchenjunga in the distance, the third highest mountain in the world. Here, this pointed mountain is Makalu, which is the world's fifth highest mountain. And then if we go left here, we're looking at Lhotse, the world's fourth highest mountain. And just to the left of it, beyond the ridge of Nuptse, is Everest, the world's highest mountain. And then if we go left again, right over here, we're looking at Chaoyu, which is the world's sixth highest mountain. And way in the distance is Shishapangma, the world's 11th highest mountain or something like that. And all of these mountains are over 8,000 metres in height.
This is me. Yes. Thanks for taking me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Ta-da.
Fidel also. Fidel's done a lot of hard work.
Yes. Just.
Yay.
Hey.
We did this.
This climb is the most difficult I've ever done in my life. And I'm a happy camper. Góður dagur á fjöllum. A good day in the mountains, as they say in Iceland.
I'm a fortunate man. I've been able to fashion a life around what I love doing most, which is climbing big mountains. And I make a living out of that now. It's not been easy at times. I've devoted 23 years of my life to this now, and it's been quite a lot of hardship and tears and various other emotions on the way. But I hope to carry on doing this as long as my sort of body and mind allows me, really. I can remember being asked by an interviewer once, are you going to stop climbing mountains when you've made enough money from it? And to me, that completely misses the point. I do this because I love it, and if I stop loving it, then I'll stop doing it.
And there are easier ways to make money.
There are a lot easier ways to make money.
My name is Anthony Blythe. I'm in my 72nd year, and I'm bringing an expedition across the Levka Ori Mountains, known as the White Mountains of Crete, to honour the brave men who were here in April, May 1941, when the Germans landed with their huge parachute battalions at Rithmenon, Heraklion and Malmö. The start is at a place called Terizo. So you get into the Terizo village and then you start walking. Until you get to the Alekes waterhole. My father and mother had both been in the army during the war. Now there's my dad, just know who we're talking about. He was a captain at the time in the 60th Rifles. In 1941, my father sailed from Greece for Crete. Crete held the gateway to North Africa. So the Germans were going to attack, and Hitler got this operation together, and it was run by a man called General Kurt Student, who was the commander of the German airborne forces. The British had hardly any equipment, because when they left Greece, they'd left most of it on the cliffs. And I remember my dad telling me we were only get away from the boats, and we could hear the German tanks coming along the up towards. I had to hide them.
Pikey Bevan. I'm glad you brought me, Bevan, aren't you? A tonic in your gin.
And I'm going to go up towards that tree.
I say.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know then the Kumos is on my left and I'm not off the track. Germans came down in their thousands. However, it was extremely difficult. They lost 1 in 4. And I've spoken to men in Crete who were there at the time and witnessed this. And the Crete population came out of their houses into the olive groves where the fighting was going on, and they hacked the German paratroopers to death with anything they could carry. Pitchforks, spades, knives, meat cleavers, anything. At the top of the col, we have to contour round the side of the mountain to a ridge where there is an abandoned Kumos. So then it's absolutely full on, straight up, going up all the time, to the Kapsikas well, where I know there's water.
though.
We've got to get over this. We've got to get over it.
Right, follow the leader.
The British took to the mountains, and I can only tell you that these mountains are extremely harsh. They're called the Levka Ori, meaning the White Mountains, because it is limestone up there. When the sun shines on the limestone, it glints white. You see, there is a way here. That is the way I first went. And it's right through that minefield. Now, the road says you go round to the right, but in fact it's easier to go to the left and across through there. So I stopped the night there. There's a magnificent enclosure there. A shepherd told me that there was water there once, but it's disappeared. And I've certainly never found it. There are no trees, there are no streams, there are no rivers, and there are no ponds. So you have to know how to survive in the mountains and where to get water from. Yeah, go round into this first little defile and then turn left between these two mountains. And there's an abandoned kumos down there. And that's where the trail is on the map. I'm a meticulous planner. I'm extremely hot on security of oneself and one's group. How are your hands, Ollie?
Sorry?
How are your hands?
Absolutely fine.
Always bearing in mind, because you don't know what's going to happen. Well, that's where, no, that's too close. It's a good 350 metres away. Down we go, then we go through this valley. My father got across, as did thousands of others, and they went to this place at the bottom, Horasmakin, where they were taken off the beaches there. Then there weren't any ships left, and thousands of them were captured. But my dad, he went up into the mountains, and he was out there for a long time. This is a working potato. Inside it, there's a huge area for making cheese. A lot of these shepherds make cheese in the summertime.
Inside I have water for you.
Yes, okay.
This only for so.
Oh, we drink that.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's clean.
Yeah.
Everything is clean.
Everything
here.
clean. Yeah.
Bye.
Presto, Polly.
Ciao, presto.
Addio.
Addio.
Addio. Then you start climbing, and it becomes pretty steep until you get to a Cazzavelli refuge.
Yeah, if you want to, I don't mind.
Oh, good man, Dave. When my stick broke this afternoon, my heart, my mind immediately then flashed forward to what was going to happen if I hadn't, and how the hell was I going to get to the mountain, let alone anything else.
I know, that's what I was thinking, Tony.
Anyway, my son was behind me, so I was...
The gazelle.
The gazelle was
Team
behind me.
Gazelle.
Yes, the gazelle was behind me. The Cree, the mountains here.
I don't know, half an hour ago, you wouldn't come anywhere near.
Then the next day, they take one pack between them with food. And then I take them up the highest mountain, which is Packness there. The whole world is there in front of me, mountains, right to the horizon. There's nobody there. I am in a world, and I just enjoy being alone in this magnificent environment. I think I become a different person because I don't give a toss about what's happening anywhere else. My father never told me how the hell he did it, but I know that the shepherds and the local population helped them across a lot of these trails. So I then bring them down this long forgotten route. And what I've been doing over the years is I've been building cairns as I go along, so that I give myself a bit of extra safety and route finding. I can't tell people what an experience it is. It's inspiring, it's enthralling, it's something that puts me then the next day I take them down this well-defined track, which is beautifully built. And this is the most magnificent valley. Then I stop them here for the night at the Potamus Mitato.
Tell you what, they don't have chemistry boys.
Yeah?
Yeah. round there, round there. No.
There's a pair of socks here of somebody.
Yeah, mine.
We've been travelling over the mountains for 6 days. Tomorrow we're going to go into the mountains again, and then from the top of the mountain that we're going to tomorrow night, we're going to wend our way down to the sea. Right, we're going straight up here.
Yep.
Careful of these loose ones. So up and up you go. So you make your way all the way along. I call this area the Mountains of the Moon. You can see the size of this mountain. And here there's an enormous cave. And that's where I let them sleep for the night.
Five hours.
Oh, how could you?
Yeah, on the beach. Over there in a minute.
What could be better? I wrote a poem once at the Katsivelli Spring in the Lebka Ori Crete. I am alone in a barren land. The silence is awesome in its loudness. Yet, where there seems emptiness, there is movement. Wheatears, choughs, partridges and goats gather at the spring below me, the centre of all life in the mountains. They chatter and bleat, hover, settle, drinking their fill of nature's nectar. But suddenly, alarm, alarm! The goats look skywards, neck bells tinkling, to where the bearded vulture soars above. His piercing eyes see all. The sun-bleached rocks, though, have seen it all before, and in a while, the threat has gone. Now, as the peaks turn to purple in the evening sun, I realize I'm not alone. I belong here. The next day is a long, long flog. It is downhill all the way. And then I walk them down the track to Isianis. Right, now when you get round the corner here, listen, pay attention. There are bolts in the wall here, and there are two choices. You can either have the life rope or the death rope. If I was you, I'd take the red rope, which is the life rope. Then I can lean against here and step down. Right, Dave. Both hands on the rope. The Lebka Ori. When people get up there, they can't actually understand that a place like this exists. This is one of the last really empty, barren, unexplored environments in Europe, I would think. When these British soldiers were going across, they were wearing heavy ammunition boots, they had gaiters, they had those heavy serge uniforms on, they had steel helmets, packs, maybe rifles and ammunition. Hell of a weight to be carrying. And the heat is absolutely colossal. It's well over 40s, in the middle 40s at the time. Terribly hot. So the reason I go across, and I take these people across, I take them across and I tell them the story about what happened in Crete and everything. And I just want them to imagine what it must have been like. They're all in modern kit, lightweight clothing. So I put them in this environment and I just say, right, I want you to imagine what it must have been like. And why I do it is I do it to honour the people that were there in 1941. And then at the end of these expeditions I take them to the Allied Military War Cemetery, and you can actually see the graves of the men from the 9th Battalion, the Rangers, who are buried there. Will I ever go to Crete again? God, how many times have I asked myself that question? I don't know. The answer to that is I really don't know this time. I really don't. Of course, I would love to. I would love to. But I'd have to go slower this time, I think. However, having said that, there is a shepherd's track that does go up 2 or 3 miles into the mountains, but that would help me on a good start.
Think about what my motivation was. Surfing trip around the world, growing up here amongst the cows and green grasses. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it was always thinking what was on the other side of that fence over there. I want to see what's outside of Australia and just what the things are that you don't see in your own backyard. I want to climb those fences around the world. I want to enrich myself in other people's culture, places and people.
This is Ben. At this point in his life, while seemingly incapable of using the zoom out function on his video camera, Ben had read enough motivational self-help books to think he was capable of anything. And he knew what he wanted. It wasn't much, only to become a life-changing inspiration for the next generation and to travel the world with his mates. He quite logically therefore decided that he could stamp out youth suicide by going on an international surf trip. Let's backtrack a little. Ben had been studying teaching, and as part of the course he'd done a youth suicide prevention seminar. It had astonished him that the highest number of suicides were happening in the young, white, rural, male group of society. Essentially, people just like him. So Ben didn't waste any time. He created an entity called SAYS, Surfers Against Youth Suicide, and he set out to recruit an army of helpers. He invited 50 of his closest mates to join him on the adventure of a lifetime. The only two that caught the bug were Danny Prendo Prendergast and Sean Howie Wolf Howard.
It was more I said yes, more definitely just to not look like a pussy.
I think it was a drunk promise at a pub to begin with, about 4 months out.
So with the crew assembled for all the right reasons, the SAYS team set to work. The first step was simple. Find a way to dam the rising tide of youth suicide in Australia. The second step was a little more complicated. To fund a 2-year worldwide surfing odyssey for 3 people. Sponsors were the obvious starting point. In Ben's mind, surf brands especially would jump at the chance to be part of such a positive professional outfit as was Surfers Against Youth Suicide. The fact that none of the boys were great surfers, or that they knew little about navigating the devastating minefield that is youth suicide prevention, had not occurred to him as a barrier.
The original SAYS acronym was Surfers Against Youth Suicide.
When we talked to people, they said that's really stupid because you're not health professionals. You shouldn't be going into schools and even mentioning youth suicide.
Because we had so little money, we didn't want to then go and spend another $120 changing our URL.
We just changed the acronym and we came up with Surfers Assisting Youth Studies.
And that was all well and good until Ben went and made phone calls to try and get sponsors. And he's on the phone going, "Hi, it's Ben Robinson from Surfers Assisting Youth Suicide."
People were like, "What do you mean you're assisting youth suicide?"
Not to be deterred, with the same logo, a slightly different, slightly vague new group name, the same good intentions, and very few sponsors, the team soldiered on. The 3 mates decided they had to get real. They reassessed and started over. They sought advice from those who had gone before them. They considered what skills they did have, and they actually devised a way to achieve Ben's twofold dream. They decided to set themselves the goal of surfing the 7 seas of the world and use their journey to inspire students in rural and regional Australia, the breeding ground of Australia's youth suicide epidemic. So the SAYS, Catching the Wave of Your Dreams, 5-point plan school speaking tour was born. As somewhat ludicrous as the SAYS Catching the Wave of Your Dreams 5-point plan school speaking tour sounds, the pitch was a hit. The boys found themselves with 6 months of paid school appearances around the country. And so, they were off. They just had to follow the 5-point plan themselves to realise their dream and inspire a generation.
Just about every person from every country I despise at the moment. The more I travel, the more intolerant and racist I become. I think I'm all travelled out. All travelled out. I want to enrich myself in other people's culture, places and people.
Maybe we need to go over that 5-point plan.
Now, motivational seminars are usually the domain of those loud Americans like Anthony Robbins with the little headsets on, all telling us about how we can become better, more powerful people. But there's a group of Wollongong surfers and school teachers who are trying to change all that. They're called SAYS, or SAYS, Surfers Assisting Youth Studies. Steve Canane caught up with them at the Illawarra Sports High, where Ben was giving a seminar to the Year 11s.
The workshop is student-based, and we use our 5 ways that have helped us get through our hard times, starting with having a dream, dreaming big. Secondly, having a plan. Thirdly, setting ourselves achievable goals. Fourthly, staying positive. And lastly, staying motivated during difficult times.
It sounded simple enough, and the boys started well. They had no trouble with the first step of the 5-point plan: dream big.
Welcome back. It's Studio D in full swing right here, right now. Now we've got Ben and Danny here from SAYS. Guys, how you doing?
Good. It's great to be here. You may have nothing at all to do with surfing. You mightn't like surfing yourself, but basically that was our dream, and we reckon a lot of young people have dreams too. And what we're trying to do is tell people about our dream and how we got that dream off the ground, and maybe give some ideas to other people about getting their dreams off the ground. We're kidding ourselves, really. We had no idea how big what we'd set out to do was so big. A 2-year journey without work, so no source of income coming in, travelling to some 30 countries, on top of a national high school tour, of talking about a trip that we hadn't done yet.
Step 2. Have a plan. The boys definitely came up with plans. Their first was fourfold. Plan 1. Travel around Australia, catch incredible waves, live inspirationally, and give seminars in schools.
It's different when you're doing it. Planning it's the easy part.
We just can't seem to find any way. We take every four-wheel drive trail we can find, we turn down it, and we're just met by this howling, terrible sou'wester.
It's freezing cold. It's the middle of summer. I'm having trouble swallowing, my throat's so infected.
All we need is some bloody waves.
Mostly our food is coming under the budget of $60 a week for 3 people. So if you work that out, it's about $20 per person per week. If you work that out again, it's about $3 per person per day.
$1.19.
Oh, all over it. Curry veggies. Get some wallaby bits. It's cheaper.
We've been driving up and down the west coast of Tassie for a couple of days now. The surf really hasn't produced. I think we're going to pack our bags, go to Cradle for a couple of days, and then head down the southern west coast.
So here we are on top of Mount Cradle in Tasmania's wilderness. It's been about 11 days now, 12 days since we left Wollongong, and it's been excellent. Sure, there's been a few arguments along the way, but in general, the team, it's been really good. I'm looking forward to the next 2 years with these guys.
It was pretty funny to always see the contrast between the lives we'd lead when we were at the school and the lives we'd leave that morning. Like, we may have woken up in the back of a car park somewhere. We would have eaten Weet-Bix and powdered rice for breakfast. Then Ben shaves in the car with an electric razor. We don't even shower. We put on the same shirt we've worn for the last month. We walk into a school and Ben would go, "Hello, Cumberland High School," or like, as if we're the shining beacons of youth. Like, there was the trip we were leading, and there was the trip that people thought we were leading, and that contrast was always brought out at the schools.
Swallowed a fly.
Everywhere I walk, there's something that hurts.
We're on an average speed of about 70 kilometres an hour because the car keeps on overheating.
We've got about
2,900 kilometres to go in about 2.5 days because we booked a school.
Helping myself. Help someone else help themselves too.
So we've just finished driving for about 2 days straight now. We've had Danny hit his first cow, and we've just been greeted in Kununurra by a whole lot of locusts.
I'm not pissing in a bottle, man. Looks like Danny does it.
They'd seen some amazing things on their journey around Australia, but it was the success of the school visits that was their biggest reward.
So, Ivan, what did you think about the seminar?
Oh, it was great. It really affected me. You know, you could just learn a lot from people who've already been through that stuff, and it just helps you.
So, Gemma, what did you get out of that seminar?
You've had heaps of these speeches before, but never really, have they made you write down what you were doing and stuff like that?
You know how some motivational speakers can seem a bit American at times. How do you think that one came across? I mean, Ben's a Wollongong boy, isn't he?
Yeah, it was heaps easier to understand what was going on because he was just so much more to our level than he wasn't commercialised, and yeah, it was heaps better.
And was there one thing in particular you got out of it?
I've sort of got an idea of where I'm going in life now.
With the school speaking tour complete, the boys were now relying on their website to stay connected with the students that they'd set out to inspire.
Well, we've got our website, so when we first originally thought about this idea, we thought rather than going in there and just talking and hopefully motivating students to go out there and do whatever they want to do, we thought we've got to have some sort of follow-up.
Gathering thousands of email addresses from the students, the boys promised to send a monthly newsletter from the road and update their website with photos and video. They would continue to inspire and engage their audience as they reached for their dream. All they had to do was stick to the 5-point plan they'd been telling everyone about. Having made it around the country, they returned home to gear up for the international leg of the journey.
You want an orange juice?
Huh?
Do you want an orange juice? Val, look! What's that on the front there?
There's Mum and I.
Come out, Val, and join us.
I'm not like that.
Oh, for God's sake!
Dad hasn't got his best. He hasn't got his best dinner suit
No,
on.
he usually wears his tuxedo on Sundays.
I prefer not to be filmed.
So you're getting all excited now.
Yep.
Saying goodbye to all your friends.
Friends and family. See you later.
Yep.
What's
going on your big venture?
In Silverdale, a little place in Western Sydney where I grew up. Is still going to be here when I get back.
I think so. I think it'll still be here.
Howie, who'd started the trip with the least amount of savings, had spent the most money by this point, and he needed to work for a while to be able to head overseas. To keep the momentum going, the other two boys decided to fly over to New Zealand where they could surf the Southern Ocean some more. They put the SAYS 5-point plan to good use. Plan 2. Hitch around the country to the best surf spots.
Yeah, I've been travelling for about 5.5 hours now. Made it about 15 kilometres.
What do you think of New Zealand?
Yeah, it's nice. People are friendly.
Here we are. Woke up in Kaikoura. It's been snowing last night. How's your sleep, Danny?
Like a baby.
The view from our tent window. Snow. Yeah, hitchhiking plans. One could say haven't really gone to plan.
The boys' plan hadn't taken into account the fact that picking them up meant also fitting in 4 surfboards plus luggage.
We tried our hand at hitching for a while, but it was pretty dismal. Not many people really wanted to pick us up, so we had so much crap. So we splashed out, we got a camper van, and we're living life a bit more luxuriously.
Lion Red. Cheap New Zealand beer. And it's better than most Australian beers I've ever tasted. $8 New Zealand will get you a 6-pack. Combine that with 79 cents Crown Pacific mackerel, that's 79 cents New Zealand dollars, with some rice, you got yourself dinner. Less than $2.
It's pretty cold.
Oh, how often do you see snow on the beach, mate?
With freezing temperatures and a distinct lack of waves, the duo had to make their own fun.
When the surf's flat, we need to maintain our fitness. What we like to do here in New Zealand especially is to run with the sheep. Kind of like in Spain where they run with the bulls, but a little bit different.
It's been really interesting, just the two of us travelling, because, I don't know, it's just a different dynamic, you know? It's just different. It's like we're married, in a way. It's just more full on. I know Ben really well, so I don't mind it when we get pissed off with each other. But every night when he says to me every night we lie down next to each other. We lie down next to each other, he says, "Jeez, I wish you were a chick." And I know what he means.
So, with New Zealand conquered, the Southern Ocean well and truly surfed, and more than half of their savings gone on campervan hire, the adventurers moved on.
Finally get to meet up with Howie again today. I'm going to pick him up from the airport. It's going to be a good reunion. I've missed Howie. I mean, there was some tough times in Australia. Had a few fights, but it all seems so much smaller now that we've been apart for a while. I think the break's been good for everybody. It's been good for me. And I'm looking really forward to getting the three of us back together.
It's been 2 months, but it feels like a lifetime.
Back together again, the three mates felt invincible and renewed. In order to inspire their Australian students, they hit the road south with a plan. Still stuck on step 2, have a plan, the boys hoped it would be third plan lucky. Plan 3, buy a car in the US, drive it through Mexico and Central America, and sell it for a profit in Costa Rica.
That's the Mexico-American border.
How's it going, Howie?
Standing ready to go. 3 months, Mexico. Oh, here we go. Looks like a big road there. Here's our map of Tijuana. This is what we're working with. There's Tijuana.
Oh my god. San Diego?
It says, oh, we're back on the same road again. Go left, go left. We went left.
Oh my god.
We're going the wrong way. Up the Mexican Expressway, being led by some guy we do not know.
Gracias. Oh my god.
Viva Mexico!
We're in Mexico.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Where'd you hit it?
Oh, what do you think it is? Worst trip of the meal.
How do you feel, Howie?
Like the I can see the next caption on the homepage is going to say Howie in between visits to the toilet in Mexico. You think there's any sympathy in this room? Like hell.
Then I saw this huge dark shadow, probably about 8 foot long. It was just darting straight through the water. Shark, my friend.
You know how to say mullet in Espanol? This is all I got left. Well, it took 3 days, but we finally got onto the ferry, taking us over to Mazatlan. We discovered that the reason we weren't getting on, and we're told day after day that to come back, mañana, getting told to come back, was that we needed, a little bit of grease. A bit of grease for the wheels, to get things turning. And when Ben finally dropped 20 pesos for the guy at the door, it was like magically a spot appeared. And I guess we learned a little lesson today, and that's that things work slowly in Mexico unless you got a little bit of mule. Grease it up with the De Niro. A little bit more De Niro, yeah.
Mainland Mexico! We've arrived!
Danny spewed up twice. That red flash was the Mexican flag we've put up if to trying to kid the banditos that we're some kind of locals.
Hey, feeling back there, Danny? Here's the side of the road. Whoops. The side of the road's not there anymore. Whoops. There's a big hole. There we are, driving down Bandito Alley. So-called Bandito Alley. Doesn't really look like many bit. What was that? Was that a gunshot?
Where are we, Wolf?
I don't even know where we are. It's not where we expected to be, but it's remote. We kind of know where we are, and we're by the beach.
Realising they'd camped next to a garbage dump, the boys decided they needed to focus on learning some Spanish.
Agua potable. Agua potable.
Invaluable. Necesitar. I don't even know if that's how you say it.
Señor, ¿qué hora es, por favor?
It's 8:15.
Agua potable.
Just been switching through the channels trying to understand what was on TV, and I found this, and I'm so happy because I don't have to know any Spanish to understand it.
Y este truco se lo dejo a todas las abuelitas de la ciudad a ver si pueden realizarlo.
You learn stuff by shopping. Now I know that this word here, naranja or naranja, so I don't even know how to say it, but I know how it looks. Now I know it means orange. Because that's not going to be orange because it's mandarin and lemon or lime. It's the little things, you know.
Mi amigo stupidísimo.
Está surf. Es no para mí. It's basically Spanish for it's not my day to surf here. I'd get killed.
The boys' improved language skills served them not at all when it came time to crossing the border into Guatemala.
We're sitting now at the Mexican-Guatemalan border, and it's been so shady. Like these two guys there, like tourists, helpers. Oh, I don't know what they are, but they sort out your paperwork. You pay them $5, you pick them up on the side of the road, they sort you out. But it's just like the whole time we're just so paranoid about being ripped off. Like we got into town and all these other guys came out like, oh, they're amigos, they're amigos, no worries, and they're trailing us on bikes. Oh, here they come. I said I wouldn't record, so I'll turn it off.
En Guatemala no... En media hora usted irse.
¿A qué?
Ya, no mucho tiempo. Ya.
Mucho... Oh, sí.
Yeah.
Can't we just do it when we get there?
Se paga money.
We are in Antigua, Guatemala.
Let's touch and go there for a bit. Cross crossing the border wasn't real fun. Probably doesn't go down as my greatest day in the Says adventure. Getting bribed out of about $300 US.
That's all behind us now. So look at this beautiful view. One thing you can't see with the camera is over to the left, the guy standing beside a tree, and down,
hiding, if you will.
and down over to the right over here, there's another gentleman who've escorted us in this area. It's
free of charge, but
free
security.
It's could possibly be Bandito territory. So while we're here looking at the beautiful vista, they're looking
for banditos.
We are top out.
It's nice.
Despite the reality of their journey, which they were sharing openly on the website, teachers and students were still being inspired by the boys' ability to just give it a crack. They took a candid approach to the website videos.
Every now and then I had to run to the side of the boat to throw the contents of my stomach over the sides.
But not everything made it in.
2 days ago we paid $10 to sleep on a piece of dirt. The toilet stunk like
Can't explain it. Worst ever. 2 hours sleep. For some reason this arm hurt like, I don't know, I had a bone disorder or something.
Surf wasn't that good.
Just can't stop thinking about sex.
Rain. I got in the car, stopped raining, so I got out and lay in the mud.
No matter where I am, sex is the #1 topic.
All through Central America, it's like there's different insects biting me all the time.
Everything I look at reminds me of sex.
I just got lumps all over my body.
This volcano looks like a breast.
Watched a lot of TV.
We don't have a watch, so we're just kind of staring at the trees. Now Ben wants to have a game of charades using the flora.
Sick of your
All my CDs got stolen.
ants are biting my feet.
It's nothing like a typical Say's breakfast to get you going in the morning. Rice, milk and sugar. It's got everything you need in it, except for vitamins, minerals. No waves.
Trip of a lifetime. I think next time we film all three of us talking, is it maybe I put the camera up a bit higher? I just wish it was legal to sell a car from America in Costa Rica.
At this point, it should be explained that based on something someone once said, and no follow-up research, the boys believed you could not only sell an American car in Costa Rica, but could do so for a huge profit. A profit they were planning to use to fund the next leg of the trip. They therefore found themselves based in Costa Rica for over a month, waiting for this to eventuate.
I sent half a dozen roses to the girl I met, Costa Rican girl I met down in the park. For a while there I thought she was a prostitute.
We're still not sure.
After the conversation I just had with her then, I'm pretty sure she's not. And going to see her tonight at 7 o'clock, I'm pretty happy.
Is there a reason why we're all in this?
Yeah, wait a sec.
I'm just in a bad mood because Ben's having a good day.
This is for the doco, Wolf. You can at least put your shirt on.
Can't ask you to put a bag over your head every time he turns the camera on, do I?
The waiting game began to take its toll on the lads. It seemed the camera now became somewhat of a confessional. Someone to talk to when they couldn't talk to each other.
How he possibly picked up and I didn't. Even though I went out on a date with a lovely Costa Rican girl who spoke no English.
The other two guys have gone to breakfast and I'm just hanging out, waiting for a Costa Rican guy who might be interested in buying the car.
I just don't know what the feelings I have of possibly jealousy.
We've packed up all our stuff, moved it all out of the car.
I just don't like them at all. Possibly a time where I need to find some space by myself. I think selling the car will give us that space apart that the three of us need.
And we're just sitting here in the hotel room trying to sell trying to sell it.
When my mates seem like they're having a good time, sometimes I wish the worst upon them.
I'm feeling sick today.
25 years old and I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis.
I feel terrible.
Or is that just the way you're meant to feel when you're 25?
Couple small things. You know, the car is automatic. Not many people like automatic. Number one. Number two, the brakes not too good. And you know that because at the time you pump the brakes.
In an effort to get back on track, the boys decided they had to cut their losses. They sold out to a local used car salesman.
50 pesos. Con placa. Vaya, soy un momentito.
I haven't checked the notes. Should you go in the toilet and check the notes? Tell him I'm going to the toilet. Tell him.
Yeah, we just sold the car for about 30% of what we wanted for it. Oh well, let's get a bus to Panama.
What do you think of not having a car now?
I want the car back.
It's another day in the life of Says.
After an equal amount of success in South America,
Behind me is Packers Mayo. One of the longest left-hand point breaks in the surfers world. And we've got it flat.
the boys headed over to the next continent. With the weight of the hearts and minds of the thousands of Australian high school students bearing down on them, the Says team couldn't possibly give up. They got their act together and returned to the 5-point plan. The next step was exactly what they needed. Says 5-point plan, step 3. Set achievable goals. Achievable goal 1. Surf the Arctic Ocean in Norway in the middle of winter.
Actually, a good day to film, but it's the first time we've seen the sun in Norway since we arrived 5 days ago. What are you doing today?
Well, it's -12. We're going to find a car to go up north. My friend Grease calling a friend of hers today in Buddha to see if there's actually waves there. Like actually waves you can surf on and not just some big off harbour where you can't surf. Did I mention it was -12 here today? Tits.
Going on, Wolf?
It's freezing. And we're trying to go surf in the Arctic Ocean. I still haven't worked out why.
Because we said we would.
I'm not going. You're on your own. I'll find you a car. You're going to stay in Oslo where it's nice and warm.
You're going to surf the 6 seas?
That's right. I have to prove anything to anyone. Can you imagine surfing when it's -20 outside? It's not on my to-do list. Never will be.
Going through mine, Wolf?
Just wondering if the ocean's going to be warmer or colder than this. I'll be colder.
Just admit it to yourself. You're already pulling out.
I told it to your face. I'm not going.
We're just busily spending our New Year's Eve trying to hire cars for the next coming days, but been having a lot of problems because everything's closed. We have to wait until after New Year's, which gives us 4 days to travel 2,440 kilometres in a car across ice and windy roads. surf the Arctic Ocean and get back before the 6th at 9:30 to catch our plane back to London. Best year of my life.
Tits.
We nearly lost you there before, eh, Wolf? How do you feel now about driving north?
Still don't want to do it, mate.
I thought the roads would be a lot worse than what we're having, no? But as the trip motto goes, no matter how bad it gets, always makes for a better story. Behind me you can see the Arctic Circle. We made it. Ahead of us is the Arctic Ocean. Major milestone in the Say's adventure. You might imagine that behind us it's about midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. No, it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Hours to go.
Hill's beating us. We saw a break about 10 kilometres back on the way. We'll just have to go surf it. So I'm not going to go in. Have a look. It's a lake. What are you going to do? Okay, while you're focusing on me and say, oh, you're an idiot, you're not surfing the Arctic Ocean, film that as well.
I've done it.
Okay, good. I'll film it too. Let's go. Give me the camera.
Sonny, it took us 23 hours to drive here. We smashed the car along the way. And the surf's about probably some of the smallest surf I've ever seen.
My wetsuit's wet. Oh. I used to hate putting on a wet wetsuit in Ulladulla. That was about probably 40 degrees warmer than here.
There's ice on my wetsuit.
Close up with Brendo.
Mine's wet
Kidding
as well,
himself.
Pump up music!
Bring it!
Huh?
Any last words, boys?
Surfed up!
And it started snowing.
Coldest water I've ever been in.
Going to the car?
Yeah. Going to curl up and die.
In the end, it was lucky Howie didn't go in and was able to remove the boys' wetsuits, dry them off, and put the car heater on as hypothermia set in.
I'm so happy now that the Arctic Ocean's behind us. It's a big stepping stone for me.
What with the loss on the car in Costa Rica and the damage to the car in Norway, the boys realised they needed to regroup, stop in London and get jobs, so they had the money to enable them to keep travelling.
About the best waves you get. London, St Paul's in front of us. Yeah, here we are at Northumberland Park Community School, and we just did our first and only seminar here in London. It snowed this morning.
They used the time to prepare for the next leg of the trip.
We're here in Brixton and we're trying to do last minute effort to prepare our car for the Sahara.
It seemed they'd really learnt from their mistakes and were making better decisions.
Good to see we're taking a two-wheel drive through the Sahara that goes through about as much water as we need to put more water in it.
After a 2-month stint in the real world, they were once again on their way.
Behind me is the White Cliffs of Dover, and it marks the end of our time here in Great Britain. Next stop, France. Howie stays on for a couple more weeks of work and rejoins us in Spain, we hope. Looking forward to some sunshine and some good waves. Good to be back in the saddle.
This is why I was in London for 2 months, working a crap job and just living in a terrible cold. It was just because this is it. This is perfect. Yeah, I'm talking stiffly here, but the sun's out. I mean, I've just had a friggin' awesome surf, and now we're going to eat food, and it's just warm and beautiful.
Bit of snow falling. I'm amped to go surfing again. Not.
Does wonders for motivation, the old snow, doesn't it?
On our way to Hosiga, France's best surf. Well, that's what we're here anyway. Hosiga shore break. There's me and Prendo sitting in Biarritz. I think our only option is to go buy some food at the supermarket and live out in the forest. About the cheapest and only possible way we can enjoy France. What do you think, Brendo? Living the dream.
Thinking they had to stretch their budget out to last for almost another full year, Western Europe proved a challenging place to be, for 2 reasons. 1, the lack of free entertainment.
This guy is the freshest looking cow we've ever seen. Ben just turned to me last night and he said, that's one good looking cow.
He's got sideburns, mate.
He's got the chops. He's got this lovely little quiff. I mean, he hasn't walked in front of this ad for Lagatus without putting a little time in behind the mirror. He's got a bit of attitude in the way he's looking at the. It's like, that's right, mate. I've got some good milk for you. I've got some damn good milk.
And secondly, the cost of decent food and accommodation.
Trip of a lifetime. We're here in lovely France. Another French forest we just camped in. We saw a couple of fellow campers. Oh, don't look now, but he's coming over again. And he tried to sell us some rings, some gold rings, and I actually bought one. We're pretty sure they're fake, but I know he had a gold set of teeth on him, which kind of made me buy it. Distance. Yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah, I just emailed Howie the other day and I said we need you, Howie, because I hate navigating and Ben hates driving, and we're steadily learning to hate each other. So we need Wolf.
Regardless of what was getting them down, they soldiered on with a positive outlook.
There's nothing more rewarding than setting an unrealistic goal.
Then, with an unexpected chunk of their recently hard-earned savings needed for a new gearbox in the car, the boys had to find even more ways to save money.
Haircuts are too expensive in Europe. Look at some long bits, just out of the blue. Like that one there. That one. Just a big fresh log bit there. That's better.
This 2/3 of the Says team, who were on the road keeping the dream alive, spent their last few days in Europe preparing for meeting up with Howie and tackling their biggest challenge yet, the Sahara crossing.
Here we are outside a Spanish supermarket before we cross over to southern Spain, northern Morocco. Last minute preparations. Who said I worked illegally in London?
We could have probably done this anywhere. You chose a busy supermarket car park to burn your personal and banking details from the UK.
That's all that's left of London, a pile of ash. Well, it's been about 3 weeks. Me and Var been together. Now we go to pick up Wolf. We can't stand this place. There was only one sign, that was it just there. Melly ran a scooter off the road.
So everyone's having a good time, eh, boys?
3 days of sunshine and 18 days of rain non-stop. Every night. Just down the road, set the tent up.
So you don't have anything yet?
Well, you got water.
We just need the...
We need jerry cans and...
We're going to get an extra tyre?
Air compressors. Oh yeah, we've got a problem with one of the other tyres too. There's a big bubble formed on it.
So we've got no spare now?
Well, it still works. But other than that, I mean, it's been running quite good. It's
How fast
a little bit hot. Quite fast.
Oh, we have to get the brake pads changed too.
Oh yeah, new brake pads. That one's starting to get down the thing. Like this one's stuffed.
That's tits.
That one. Yeah. And I mean, it heats up a bit. The tyres ball.
What's the odds-on chances?
Well, I've really got a good feeling about it. I had a good feeling about the car making the Sahara. I don't know why. How's it feel to be back behind the wheel, Wolf?
Look, I never left, mate.
How you doing back there, Prendo?
Feels good to be home. My little cocoon back here, snug as a rug.
We're in a shop downtown Rabat and Bruce is looking for a Gandalf jacket.
I won't get this off, the Sahara. That's all I'll be wearing.
The most expressive face of the man I know.
With the whole Says team back together, it was time to return to the mechanism of success, the Says 5-point plan. Achievable goal 2, drive across the Sahara in a second-hand two-wheel drive vehicle.
Surfing capital of Morocco. No waves.
Tits.
Came down to a surf spot to check it out. Sand was a little softer than what we thought, and we can't get out. Figured out just then that the car's a front wheel drive instead of a rear wheel drive, which is tits and sand, and we've seen this thing that's fallen out, so I don't know what's wrong with it. Let's get it back in gear. We'll see if we can get it back in gear. It's not as bad as it could be. We're in between two towns. Goose has just gone to hitchhike into town to try and get our wood planks. We can drive forward and back a bit, but it seems whenever we rev it that it just drops out again and we have no gears. Makes you think about the big picture. We're on a little bit of a slope. We're about to cross the Sahara in this car.
It's not even a steep hill. There's about an inch of sand. The car's not freaking going. Making a road with bits of rock. Most fun Howie's had all bloody trip. That's the way Howie get that rock in there. Good work, mate. Yeah, that's it. Push it in. Push it in. Nice one. It's a good thing about travelling with Howie. You just can't sit and do nothing. That's a nice one there. Where'd you get that one?
If we can't get up here, I don't want to say it.
Oh yeah. That's some good practice for us, eh? Let's just hope there's 5 big burly men to help us through the Sahara, eh?
As luck would have it, the boys were sharing a campsite with a crew of British volunteers who were also travelling across the Sahara. They had an overland bus driven by an experienced, intrepid New Zealander, and were happy to go in convoy with them.
Meeting up with the Sabre team can't help but make me think that maybe someone is looking out for the Sabre team.
Yeah, I just got excited about the idea of sitting around a campfire tonight, or sitting around eating food with people who I can learn stuff about and ask just the normal questions like, where are you from? What do you do?
Our relationship's more than that though, mate.
We don't talk anymore. Well, we don't have to talk. We don't have to talk.
After 2 days into an expected 6-week trip, the desert claimed its first victim. The overland bus got stuck. And then, even more stuck. The 3 mates pulled their weight to help the team well into the night. And then it got even more stuck. They used the trusty Says car to get to a remote mine for some helpful supplies. After a 48-hour ordeal, they were back on track. But not for long. It was lucky the guys had built up some brownie points with the others, because now it was the Says car that was in trouble. And it had another turn. And another.
Getting a run up, because in the desert, momentum's your friend. Mate, as long as this car's going fast, it goes alright, but as soon as she slows down, sand eats her alive, eh? So it's just a matter of going fast.
Aren't there speed limits in the Sahara?
Moment I don't give a
Here's me and Howie, to the Sahara.
Canaan.
Here's me back here with our fender, a couple of wheel trims, half our front chassis from about 3 or 4 different toe points we've ripped out. That's the temperature gauge. It's hot. Real hot. Bit stressed. But we're moving. Not like driving to Wagga and back, eh?
Having done so much damage to the car that they'd run out of places to attach a tow rope, and with everyone out of patience, the boys had to make a decision. They managed to find a man in the middle of the Sahara Desert who wanted to give them money for the car, so they took it and joined the crew on the overland bus. The boys' relief was obvious, but unfortunately short-lived. Although the rest of the trip through Western Africa was now made much easier with no decisions, no car, and no maps to worry about, the Says team lost focus. The 3 mates were with the group for a number of weeks, volunteering in a community and even being tourists, but all was not well.
I think you're being around other people. I don't know what it is.
I'm not trying to piss you off.
I don't know, when you're around other people, you just change so much. You're so clingy or so over-polite and over-helpful and I don't know, or it just really makes me think who is you? You know, like who is the real you?
I'm being helpful.
No, it's more than that.
And myself, mate.
So you're not yourself when you're around us?
Yeah, I've got my guard up when I'm around you guys because you always try and put me down.
So you've been travelling us for 15 months and you got your guard up with us still?
Sometimes.
Over the last week or two that we've been with this group, I'm just finding it really hard to be around you.
Same goes.
Well, what don't you like about me? I'm just glad we're not travelling with 10 other people.
I wouldn't have made it this far.
seems like everything you do pisses me off at the moment. I guess in some ways I just don't want to be here.
Even when they parted ways from the Sabre Trust, they had trouble returning to the 5-point plan. Say's 5-point plan, step 4, stay positive.
I think the Sahara Desert, the whole west of Africa was a waste of time. Coming here and surfing this surf was probably some of the worst moments of my life.
No, I really don't like markets that much. It just dawned on me then that I really can't stand the places. I'd like to say I love the smells and the colours and the people and all the, the energy, but I hate it. Can't stand it.
Now we're in a little village on the West African coast called Loutre. Beautiful village. Palm trees, great big trees. But all around us is human shit that I can't quite get out of my mind. Oh, the smell is horrendous.
I just myself 10 minutes ago. Got no control over crap.
2 a day. Antibiotics straight over the counter. No prescription.
At this all-time low, the Say's team needed some inspiration. Logging on to their website, they realised the students that they'd set out to motivate were now the ones that were motivating them. Luckily, they had not yet exhausted the 5-point plan. Say's 5-point plan. Step 5. Stay motivated during difficult times.
Here we are, on our way to Cape Town. Aboard this train. It's 26 hours from Johannesburg to Cape Town. We're looking for surf. It's meant to be big swell down there at the moment. Equally big sharks. But it's the Southern Atlantic is what we're there for. The last sea in our 7-sea Odyssey. Woo!
Staying motivated was one step the boys didn't really struggle with. They knew they had to finish the trip, if for no other reason than because they told everyone they would.
We made the mistake of telling everybody that we were going to travel for 2 years and surf the 7 seas. So I guess now we're just travelling out of self-respect.
There's a little bit of localism to go with your surf.
We're here at Seal Point, just outside of J Bay, and it's a spot notorious for white pointers. A few waves coming through. I'm too paranoid to go out.
Oh, wolf, mate. Wolf stinging to lose a leg out in the water. Think of the story, eh, Wolf? How's the 7-sea, Brendo?
Yeah, it's good. Pity I forgot how to surf today.
While they did surf their 7th sea in South Africa, Danny's fear of sharks and the group's low mood made it a total anticlimax. They had always planned to finish their trip in Indonesia, as it's widely thought of as the pinnacle of the surfers' world. This put a lot of pressure on their expectations for the next and final leg.
In my mind, Indonesia is just going to be paradise. I'm just expecting there to be barreling, waves coming off every point, palm trees everywhere.
No other surfers.
The boys found palm trees, cheap accommodation, great food and friendly locals. They even found barreling waves. But it seemed, wherever they went, so did everyone else.
Unless there's less than 10 people in the water next time, it's the last surf I'm having here.
Crowded surf became the bane of the boys' existence.
Indonesia's got some international waters, Japanese, Australians, Americans, French people. You meet them all in the Indonesian surf, and I hate every one of them. Just about every person from every country I despise at the moment. The more I travel, the more intolerant and racist I become. Japanese have a funny way of sneaking around.
And with the other two having an equally good time.
Pulled into a big barrel. Next thing I knew, I was being scraped across the reef with my rash vest over my head and my helmet smashed against my face.
It's 2 a.m. We got on the bus at 2 p.m. We arrive at our place at 4 a.m. into a new town in Indonesia, and it's going to be pouring down rain. Everyone on the bus chain smokes.
All hopes were pinned on heading out to a remote island chain, where the waves were reported to be some of the greatest in the world. It was to be the perfect end to their 2-year odyssey.
It's an 8-hour ferry ride. The first thing he said to me was 2 mils the normal price. This guy over here says 1 mil. That's what Howie got. Howie's got the best so far. Old mate in the ferry office said he wasn't going to budge off 3 mil. He said, well, that's what everyone pays. Mate, I walked over there. Old mate said he'd give us a deal for 4 million. That works out to nearly 1,000 Australian, I think. Do it. Powdered milk, cereal, 56 cans of tuna, 7 kilos of rice, chilli sauce, salt, and 56 chocolate bars.
Instead of paying to go on the 8-hour tourist ferry, the boys negotiated with a local man who owned what could only be described as a dugout with a motor to take him across the open ocean to the Mentawai Islands.
We just got on the 5-hour ferry across the Nang Nang. Surf the Mentawai chain. I think we're putting the captain's children through university with the amount of money we paid for it. We've got a 50% chance of making it. In the Sahara we would have killed for something like this, just an abundance of water. This is great. Embrace it. Oh, you poor bastard.
We're heading into a storm, it looks like. And the boat's filling up. It's already past ankle deep at the bottom of the boat.
The guy behind us looks like he's working for his money. Oh, he's not bailing for the money, he's bailing for his life. This is unbelievable. Looks like storm's coming.
moment, threw our life jackets on because not because we think it's going to go over yet, but it's a lot warmer out here with a life jacket on. Old mate love buckle it.
There he is. We've got a few engine problems.
Once again, the Says team was saved, and the surf was even better than expected. Unfortunately, what wasn't expected was that hundreds of tourists were being shipped in on a daily basis to enjoy such amazing conditions.
What do you think of the Mantell was, Howie?
Too many people.
Insta crowd. How to wreck a good surf.
Here we are, the Mantell boys. Go and look at the surf. Surrounded by people in boats. We're having a great time.
Early morning surf patrols.
In order to surf some uncrowded waves, the boys resorted to getting up before dawn.
Ben and I are just up for the early. There's no other boats have come as yet, which is pretty good.
Which left the rest of the day for them to bond. And make the most of their time. Which for Ben meant having deep and meaningful conversations with the locals.
Good job. We've met a lot of boats up here in the Mentawai chain, and it's really starting to upset me. So we're about to leave in 2 days' time and going to head to a semi-secret area in southern Sumatra that's accessible by land. Boat trips are too expensive.
This was their last-ditch effort, their last chance. And it was really the final test of the 5-point plan. They dreamt big, for perfect uncrowded surf. They had a plan to travel to a remote part of Sumatra. They set an achievable goal to get there overland instead of in a leaky boat they could barely afford. They remained positive that they would find what they wanted, and they stayed motivated during their ongoing difficult times. It actually paid off. They even found some kids to inspire one last time. After one more surf and some quiet contemplation, they were finally ready to head home. And so it was that these three mates had surfed their 7 seas and more. They actually were surfers who'd assisted youth with their studies by proving that if you persevere, you can achieve whatever it is you set out to do. After 2 long years on the road, having set foot in over 30 countries, the Says team had somehow realised their dream. And although there was nothing heroic or glamorous about what they did or the way in which they did it,
There's no wives!
they had done it. And while they often had trouble focusing on the good times, there were plenty of them. Maybe they'd even helped a few kids to see the possibilities for themselves beyond their small worlds, and showed them that times happen to everyone no matter where you are. But if you do something, you'll be glad you did. They'd proven that even when the going gets tough, it pays to keep going. And above all, to choose life. Because you never know where it will take you.
Sampai jumpa lagi. See you later.
My name is Anthony Blythe. I'm in my 72nd year, and I'm bringing an expedition across the Levka Ori Mountains, known as the White Mountains of Crete, to honour the brave men who were here in April, May 1941, when the Germans landed with their huge parachute battalions at Rithmenon, Heraklion and Malmö. The start is at a place called Terizo. So you get into the Terizo village and then you start walking. Until you get to the Alekes waterhole. My father and mother had both been in the army during the war. Now there's my dad, just know who we're talking about. He was a captain at the time in the 60th Rifles. In 1941, my father sailed from Greece for Crete. Crete held the gateway to North Africa. So the Germans were going to attack, and Hitler got this operation together, and it was run by a man called General Kurt Student, who was the commander of the German airborne forces. The British had hardly any equipment, because when they left Greece, they'd left most of it on the cliffs. And I remember my dad telling me we were only get away from the boats, and we could hear the German tanks coming along up towards the sea. I had to hide them.
It's all Bevan's history and family, isn't it? That's what I'm talking about. Pikey Bevan.
I'm glad you brought me, Bevan, aren't you? A tonic in your gin.
And I'm going to go up towards that tree.
I say. Yeah, okay.
Because I know then the Kumos is on my left and I'm not off the track. Germans came down in their thousands. However, it was extremely difficult. They lost 1 in 4. And I've spoken to men in Crete who were there at the time and witnessed this. And the Crete population came out of their houses into the olive groves where the fighting was going on, and they hacked the German paratroopers to death with anything they could carry. Pitchforks, spades, knives, meat cleavers, anything. the top of the col. We have to contour round the side of the mountain to a ridge where there is an abandoned kumos. So then it's absolutely full on, straight up, going up all the time to the Capsicas well, where I know there's water.
Empty it first though.
We've got to get over this. We've got to get over it.
Right, follow the leader.
The British took to the mountains, and I can only tell you that these mountains are extremely harsh. They're called the Levka Ori, meaning the White Mountains, because it is limestone up there. When the sun shines on the limestone, it glints white. You see, there is a way here. That is the way I first went. And it's right through that minefield. Now, the road says you go round to the right, but in fact it's easier to go to the left and across through there. So I stopped the night there. There's a magnificent enclosure there. A shepherd told me that there was water there once, but it's disappeared. And I've certainly never found it. There are no trees, there are no streams, there are no rivers, and there are no ponds. So you have to know how to survive in the mountains and where to get water from. Yeah, go round into this first little defile and then turn left between these two mountains. Yeah. And there's an abandoned kumos down there. And that's where the trail is on the map. I'm a meticulous planner. I'm extremely hot on security of oneself and one's group. How are your hands, Ollie?
Sorry?
How are your hands?
Absolutely fine.
Always bearing in mind, because you don't know what's going to happen. Well, that's where... No, that's too close. It's a good 350 metres away. Down we go, then we go through this valley. My father got across, as did thousands of others, and they went to this place at the bottom, Horasmakin, where they were taken off the beaches there. Then there weren't any ships left, and thousands of them were captured. But my dad, he went up into the mountains, and he was up there for a long time. This is a working Mitato. Inside it, there's a huge area for making cheese. A lot of these shepherds make cheese in the summertime.
Inside I have water for drink.
Yes, okay.
This only for so.
Oh, we drink that.
It's okay.
Okay,
It's clean.
yeah.
Everything is clean.
Everything
here.
clean. Yeah.
Bye.
Presto Polly.
Che vuoi presto?
Addio.
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 Then you start climbing, and it becomes pretty steep until you get to a Cazzavelli refuge.
Yeah, if you want to. I don't mind.
Oh, good man, Dave. When my stick broke this afternoon, my heart, my mind immediately then flashed forward to what was going to happen if I hadn't, and how the hell was I going to get to the mountain, let alone anything else.
I know. I was thinking, Tony.
Anyway, my son was behind me, so I was...
The gazelle.
The gazelle was
team
behind me.
gazelle.
Yes, the gazelle was behind me. The Cree, the mountains here.
I don't know, half an hour ago, you wouldn't come anywhere near.
Then the next day, they take one pack between them with food. And then I take them up the highest mountain, which is Paknes there. The whole world is there in front of me, mountains, right to the horizon. There's nobody there. I am in a world, and I just enjoy being alone in this magnificent environment. I think I become a different person because I don't give a toss about what's happening anywhere else. My father never told me how the hell he did it, but I know that the shepherds and the local population helped them across a lot of these trails. So I then bring them down this long forgotten route, and what I've been doing over the years is I've been building cairns as I go along, so that I give myself a bit of extra safety and route finding. I can't tell people what an experience it is. It's inspiring, it's enthralling, it's something that puts me Then the next day, I take them down this well-defined track, which is beautifully built. This is the most magnificent valley. Then I stopped them here for the night at the Potamus Mitato.
I'm passing a very hot package.
Tell you what, they don't have cover those boys.
Yeah?
Yeah, when you think they've gone round there, round there. No.
There's a pair of socks here of somebody's.
Yeah, mine.
We've been travelling over the mountains for 6 days. Tomorrow we're going to go into the mountains again, and then from the top of the mountain that we're going to tomorrow night, we're going to wend our way down to the sea. Right, we're going straight up here.
Yep.
Careful of these loose ones. So up and up you go. So you make your way all the way along. I call this area the Mountains of the Moon. You can see the size of this mountain. And here there's an enormous cave. And that's where I let them sleep for the night.
Hours.
Oh, I can't. How could you?
Yeah, on the beach.
Thank you.
Over there in a minute.
What could be better? I wrote a poem once at the Katsivelli Spring in the Levka-Ori Crete. I am alone in a barren land. The silence is awesome in its loudness. Yet, where there seems emptiness, there is movement. Wheatears, choughs, partridges and goats gather at the spring below me, the centre of all life in the mountains. They chatter and bleat, hover, settle, drinking their fill of nature's nectar. But suddenly, alarm, alarm! The goats look skywards, neck bells tinkling, to where the bearded vulture soars above. His piercing eyes see all. The sun-bleached rocks, though, have seen it all before, and in a while, the threat has gone. Now, as the peaks turn to purple in the evening sun, I realise I'm not alone. I belong here. The next day is a long, long flog. It is downhill all the way. And then I walk them down the track to Iasianis. Right, now when you get round the corner here, listen, pay attention. There are bolts in the wall here, and there are two choices. You can either have the life rope or the death rope. If I was you, I'd take the red rope, which is the life rope. then I can lean against here and step down. Right, Dave. Both hands on the rope. The Levka Ori. When people get up there, they can't actually understand that a place like this exists. This is one of the last really empty, barren, unexplored environments in Europe, I would think. When these British soldiers were going across, they were wearing heavy ammunition boots, they had gaiters, they had those heavy serge uniforms on, they had steel helmets, packs, maybe rifles and ammunition. Hell of a weight to be carrying. And the heat is absolutely colossal. It's well over 40s, in the middle 40s at times. Terribly hot. So the reason I go across, and I take these people across, I take them across and I tell them the story about what happened in Crete and everything. And I just want them to imagine what it must have been like. They're all in modern kit, lightweight clothing. So I put them in this environment and I just say, right, I want you to imagine what it must have been like. And why I do it is I do it to honour the people that were there in 1941. And then at the end of these expeditions I take them to the Allied Military War Cemetery, and you can actually see the graves of the men from the 9th Battalion, the Rangers, who are buried there. Will I ever go to Crete again? God, how many times have I asked myself that question? I don't know. The answer to that is I really don't know this time. I really don't. Of course, I would love to. I would love to. But I'd have to go slower this time, I think. However, having said that, there is a shepherd's track that does go up 2 or 3 miles into the mountains, but that would help me on a good start.
The clue is in the name. Extreme. An extreme grabs my attention because not everybody can do extreme. sort of knew that something wasn't quite right on race day. My body just wasn't working the way it normally does. And yeah, these type of races are tough and you go through peaks and troughs, that's normal. But yeah, I just wasn't firing right. But you know, you've cycled 180 k's and you've swam 4 k's and your body's not going to feel great. You know, come off that bike bouncing like Pepe Le Pew, you know, as fresh as the morning dew, that ain't going to happen.
Captain the man has broken me. I'm like a shitting dog.
I was running and I came over the top of a hill and I could see Mark's support crew. Mark was sitting in the back of the car.
Oh.
I said to him, "You okay?"
I'm okay.
He said, yeah, keep going, don't worry, I'm absolutely fine. And I said, well, you better finish.
As soon as she said that, I knew that I had to get back on my feet and finish the race.
Mark, let's see! Finisher of the 10 2019!
Neither of us at that point knew how seriously ill I was. I actually could have died.
A week to 10 days after the race, we were still over in Montreal area and he came out for a run with me and he couldn't keep up with me and he was breathing really, really heavily.
I just thought, oh, my calf hurts. Well, I've just done a race that's lasted 14 hours. They're going to be a bit hurty.
And it wasn't until we got on the plane to fly across to Vancouver that his symptoms got really bad. It got bad enough that he agreed to go to hospital. And I think he wouldn't have agreed to go otherwise.
Shit. She's talking about me. She's talking about me. And she's talking about blood clots, severe pulmonary embolisms. You know, terms that I know are really serious. And I just have this surge of adrenaline just pumped through me. And then I turn to Caroline, and she realises as well.
So the blood clot that he'd had in his calf for some time, bits of that blood clot had broken up and gone into his lungs, and both of his lungs had extensive blood clots, which were preventing him from being able to absorb oxygen, which was why he was having difficulty breathing.
The first question I asked the doctor was how my lungs were going to be damaged. Then I told her I'd been racing just over a week before, and she was like, wow, very lucky to be here. Once you're on these blood thinners and you have an accident, it gets really serious because the blood just doesn't clot like it should.
You know, what we love doing is not tiddlywinks. It's something you've got to be 100% fit for. We always like to do an end of season race of some sort. So we were always looking for an adventure to have in November or December. It's our life. And the first question Mark asked the doctor was, am I going to recover fully from this? Can I train? When can I train? I wanted to do Ironman Cozumel.
You're doing great, darling. Looking good.
When we race, we do it together, whether one of us is racing and the other's supporting, or we're both racing. We're always there for each other.
Get back in the rhythm. Great stuff. Keep the eyes on.
That was very hard. One of the reasons that we have our lifestyle is that we love travelling and we love meeting new people and just having adventures. You know, it doesn't pass me by that we're so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah, I really liked Ireland. I liked the people. It was great. It's a nice place to go and just train.
Mark had seen this race in Brazil. I had to trust that he was well enough.
One of the major factors contributing to this DVT was dehydration. And I'm an endurance athlete. I'm in a perpetual state of dehydration. Dad said to me, I'm responsible for everything on race day. So I gave her full autonomy on it, everything. I said, right, you tell me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And I'll do my damnedest to follow the rules. We hired some town bikes with a basket on the front. She'd got an ice bucket full of ice, all my nutrition and water and stuff, and she would just follow me on the bike.
Mark felt fit enough to train, and he was training well and training hard. But we had no way of knowing if he still had blood clots in his system. He made the call to say that he was fit enough to race the Products Man.
If we go to a race venue too early, I just get a bit stir crazy, because I just want it to happen.
Principalmente para as autoridades que previdem essa prova e na sequência os patrocinadores e a vocês atletas que são a razão da prova existir.
The race organisers said, "Oh, we'll try and find you somebody to help you," and we thought maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't, and there were a few false starts, and then we ended up with Marcella, who was just the most amazing girl.
So Marcella volunteered to help Caroline look after me.
Life is richer with relationships that help you develop as a person and bring you joy and bring other people joy. And it's really that simple. What I love about what we do is that we travel to the most amazing places, which in itself is special. But then we just meet these brilliant people everywhere we go, and everyone you meet gives you a different perspective on life. We just make good friends wherever we go.
So the reason we had recce's in the military is that they never go to plan. So the plan this morning was to go down, see the swim start, have a wee swim. Luckily enough, we brought our running kit as well. So although we're not on the run route, we did a wee run just to get used to the heat, humidity, dust, all that kind of stuff. So.
And how did you feel on the run today?
So on the wee run, just did 4 miles, nice and easy. I felt really good actually. I remember running and just thinking how much better I feel now than I did a week before Canada Man when I was running. That said, I only ran 4 miles and I didn't do any biking, so I'm not going to feel that good at all. But I'm thinking back to my pre-runs before Canada Man. I just felt just didn't feel right. Really looking forward to this. I just hope everything goes to plan and I don't get, a mechanical or some shit like that, and it spoils the whole adventure. If I perform well, then I'm going to be happy, as in whether it's 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, it doesn't matter, as long as I know that I didn't make mistakes and my nutrition plan goes well, then I'll be happy. But my aim is to try and come at least top 2.
Mark's going to have a little bike ride just now back to the village. Just have a look at the first bit of the bike because it's quite poor road surface in places.
It's cobbles are bad.
It's got quite a bit of cobbles and speed bumps and.
That's why I'm riding it. But it's early doors and I don't want to hit a pothole after 5k.
Yeah.
Overcooking it. I just got to and see what the tarmac's like, get a good feel, because you can drive it all day, it'll never give you a good feel. You'll ride it. During the build-up to the race, everything's normal, then you'll have like a sudden burst of like foreboding and excitement and anxiety. You get a bit closer to the race, boom, shit, this is going to happen, and it's happening soon.
So it's 3:30?
Yeah, 3:30 in the morning, yeah. We were up at, I don't know, what time were we up?
1:30.
1:30, 3 hours sleep, yeah. Swim start, got half an hour to go, it's still dark. I think the first lap's going to be in the dark.
Yes.
Just wanted to get on with it and just get into the race and settle in and enjoy.
When you're going into a race like this, you don't want to be worrying about somebody else. You only want to be worrying about yourself, because that day is so demanding for you.
Yes.
You've got enough to think about.
When I'm racing, I'm just totally focused. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
You need 100% mental focus on achieving what you want to achieve and pushing yourself through those pain barriers and getting to those limits and finding what you're capable of doing. You get to see the very best and the very worst in people on race day.
This guy fucking following me. Okay. Visit. Come on. Let's go. And I just turned into this idiot and race. And I think, I race better with that type of mentality.
Don't forget, swim skin first. I think a lot of people would find the way that Mark is on race day abrasive. He does get angry, but for Fodax, man, we both knew how important it was for him to get this race right after what had happened at Canada, man. Swim skin.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on, tell me earlier. Sharpie.
I just saw. Anywhere after the thing.
I got on the bike and then, because you're on your own on the bike, I just tell myself, right, Mark, settle in. Just settle in.
Nice! Vamos! Up! Go! When I'm a support crew, especially for Mark, I approach it in the same way as I would if I was racing. Doing great. The guy ahead is about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because if you lose your concentration and you make a mistake, it costs the other person their race.
I'm just maybe 10 minutes into the race and I hit this speed bump. And I'm on my aerobars in the air and everything just went slow-mo. And in that period of me being airborne, I thought, shit, when I land, I'm going to be shaped like a swastika on the floor, hurting a lot, bleeding. I'm on anti-coagulation drugs, so that if I get a head injury, that's really serious. My blood doesn't clot. And then I thought, Caroline's going to drive around this corner and see me in a bag of shit on the floor. This is all going through my mind in this split second of being airborne. Alright? And I'm thinking, holy shit, man. You have just pissed away 6 months of training. You're in great shape. And you're just being a dick. You're not concentrating. So this is all going through my mind. Because I hit it hard. Really hard. And I thought, no way. There's no way I'm going to save it. And I landed. I rode off.
Mark overtook the lead swimmer. He was out 6 minutes ahead on the swim, but Mark called him within, I think, about 30 kilometres.
And then at the Rastro, you're about maybe 3.5 hours into the ride. I defy anybody with a sense of adventure not to have the desire to go and ride this piece of tarmac. It's 22 kilometres in length. It's over 4,000 feet in elevation. And on race day, it took me over 90 minutes to get to the top.
You're doing really well. Looking really good.
Normally during that sort of period of time, I'll have a little bit of wobble, nutrition-wise. I'll have like a little dip.
Okay, you've got one more stop before the top.
Beans and a bit of coke on the next one. I need a bit of sugar.
That's what the gels are. Keep taking gels.